Hello friends! Today I suggest to practice painting the sky. I will do it in my sketchbook, which I made myself. By the way, there is a video about this on the channel. Whoever is interested, I will leave a link in the subscription box below. I will also use those colors and their combinations. There is also another video about the specific topic in case for your interest. To fix the paper, I use tape from the Tessa brand, which is very well removable and without tearing off the top layer of paper. So let's get started! First I take a calligraphy brush, wet it well, and now we are also wet the entire surface of the paper well. This stage should not scare you. We wet it quite well, maybe even several times, especially if you have a larger paper size. Here at angle you can see what the moisturizing looks like in my understanding, especially since I paint on 100% cotton paper. After that, I give the water a minute or two to absorb into the structure of the paper, and then I start working. The first color I take is natural cyan. We use a synthetic brush to make the outline of the sun. If the paint goes into the center, we can use a clean dry brush to collect the remaining paint and improve the situation. If necessary, you can repeat. I decided to change the brush to a calligraphy brush. Remember that when using natural bristles, we collect more paint and less water. And when we paint such clouds, add a little pink, the one you have and want. You can change the colors. Now I mix natural cyan with pink. Then I add a little blue to the pink, which creates a purple color. To the top, I mix a little purple with natural sienna, which gives such a dirty purple-brown color. And already, at the very top, I paint more blue. A little purple, something like indigo. After that, we tilt the paper so that the paint flows a little. Mix it well with each other so that there is a good combination, and by that, such a smooth gradient is created. When the paint is slightly absorbed in the paper, I add thicker paint using the same calligraphy brush, creating such sunny clouds. According to this principle, you can use some of your own reference, or do it imaginatively by intuition. I want a little while for the paint to settle on the paper, and I add more blue colors on top, because the closer for the sun, the darker its clouds will be, and they are more purplish and bluish. My own advice is not to use too many colors, especially if you are not familiar with the colors you are using. For example, if you bought some fresh colors and immediately want to put them into work, but get an unexpected surprise? If you do not understand what's the pigment combination in them, how they mix with each other, etc., I advise you to get a very limited palette so that you don't get dirty. As a recommendation, it can also be of an advantage, especially for beginners, to use single pigment colors. I mix warmer colors with cold ones for a harmonious combination of colors in the painting itself. My clouds spread a little, but for me it's not a problem. I will add an even darker color later. If you don't like the size of paint spreading or you have a very humid environment, you need to wait a little for the paint to settle a bit on the paper, and then you can start over again. You may also use a synthetic brush with a small amount of water and then use a semi-dry brush to introduce the paint on the humid environment. For larger clouds that come for the foreground, I take thicker paint. Ideally, if you have watercolor paint in tubes. If not, then you need the paint to be well soaked, so that is easier for you to pick it up on the brush. I emphasize a fairly dry brush and a lot of paint, and then paint heavier clouds in the foreground. The clouds can be large, voluminous, small, elongated, rounded, flat, more curved, more playful, dynamic, etc. That's in any case left up to your taste. Also, for the dynamics of the color, I add clouds in more purplish tones to the bottom because when closer the sun, the light affects the color. For the backlight, I take away a little paint with a dry napkin. You can leave such white spots that will give us a shining effect, or for example add some yellow paint, orange, in this case for instance pearl. Paint-wise is harmoniously fit into the frame of your picture. I will leave it as it is, because the paint will settle a little, combine them harmoniously with each other, and there will be a pretty good result. Again, a little reminder about link under this video. If you wanted to see how I created this particular sketchbook, or how I mixed all colors combination and did all swatches, I have those two videos on the channel as well. So you will not miss the videos for your support. Don't forget to link and subscribe to my channel so you stay tuned and always receive the latest update for your best development. You will receive more content which you will like for sure. Of course, I'm very happy about all your comments, very grateful for every like. Thank you very much for being here with me, for watching, subscribing, commenting, forwarding. Now, let's have a look at my result. This is what my little sketch looks like. My little work that I did in my sketchbook. After drying, you can remove the tape and enjoy the finished work. I wish you all a splendid creative development. See you very soon. Bye bye.